at 11. Trees toppled, cars crushed, homes damaged and destroyed.
Tonight, the cleanup begins after strong storms tear through New England.
We are done with the heavy rain and the high wind. Sunshine for tomorrow.
Also tonight, the coronavirus emergency.
I really don't want people to start to think today that this is over.
Massachusetts preparing to see a peak in the pandemic as the number of cases continues to climb across the Commonwealth.
Plus, a shocking discovery here in Sharon. An investigation underway after a body with gunshot wounds is found inside of a burning car.
And Belichick on Brady. What Tom's former coach is saying about the quarterback's fallout from Foxborough. 7 News at 11 starts now.
First at 11, wild weather across New England. Powerful winds doing significant damage across parts of Massachusetts. There, a home in Hanover split-leveled after a tree fell on the home.
A close call in Medford, too. A tree landing on a passing car. Amazingly, the person inside was not hurt.
And downed wires sparking danger in Wayland. Power lines causing a fire there earlier today. And many people are in the dark tonight after the storm knocked out their power.
The good news is the worst of the high winds have basically blown out to sea. We have night team coverage. From a closer look at all the damage to a look at this track of the storm, Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Reiner starts us off at 11. Jeremy?
Yeah, volatile out there this afternoon. Center of the storm up in Canada, but the cold front came through here this afternoon, shoving the rain and the wind out to sea. Look at the wind gusts earlier today. Blue Hill gusting to 70 miles per hour, Taunton 63, Norwood a gust to 62, Methuen at 51 miles per hour. Here are the latest gusts. And you notice a lot of communities, you've lost that gusting nature of the wind. Worcester up on the hill there, 31 mile per hour gust. Plymouth at 23. Elsewhere, there's some wind out there, but even in Boston, it's only out of the southwest around 13 miles per hour. But that wind was good enough to get the rain out of here. Skies have cleared out, and it's still mild. These are current temps. 60 in town. For tonight, not as windy, mostly clear. Overnight lows between 40 and 45. Tomorrow will be a good day for yard cleanup with a mix of clouds and sunshine, a light breeze at 7 a.m. And then as we go through the day, you'll hardly notice the wind out there at all, with temperatures tomorrow afternoon in the upper 50s.
Today's strong winds causing a sign on a business in Chelsea to come crashing down. Tonight, many communities across the Commonwealth are now picking up after the damage because of today's powerful winds. Night Team's Justin Bork has more from Medford.
And there's still plenty of damage left behind. If you look at that tree over there, you can see the mark where a branch came down onto a car earlier. Just one incident in what was a very tough day for New England. A giant tree cuts a garage in half in Hanover. The homeowner, an 80-year-old woman, says she was just a few rooms away when the wind sent it crashing to the ground.
That was a big tree, which I've been trying to get down. It was so expensive, I couldn't afford to get it down. But the Lord took it down for me.
Here in Medford, a passing car crushed by a falling limb near Suffolk and Wyman Streets. Amazingly, nobody was hurt. Just around the corner, another tree fell onto a yard. The homeowner says she moved her car out of the driveway just a few minutes earlier.
I heard a clunk, and then I looked out, and then I just heard a crack, and the whole thing came down.
Dramatic images from Wilmington, too, on Shawsheen Ave, where a homeowner suffered a leg injury when a huge rotted-out tree sliced through the roof. A neighbor called 911.
Someone was watching over him because it was like 5 fingers. If these were all branches, they were all around his body, and he was in the middle of it.
All across the state, the wind sent trees toppling. One tree crushing a Jeep in Melrose, another uprooting and blocking a road in Malden. And here in Dorchester, a large tree came crashing down right next to a charter school.
Normally, this is a really busy playground area, recess area with a lot of kids, full in the morning and in the afternoon. So I think a lot of us were really relieved, too, that there were no kids out there, because I know that would have been really scary for them and dangerous as well.
Many forced to clean up the mess into the evening, some even without power. Those impacted by the damage say they feel fortunate to be alive.
I always say things seem to work out for the best. And I just got to have faith in that they will.
Eversource says they're working to fix ongoing power outages, but their employees are also taking precautions due to coronavirus, so the company warns it could take a little longer than normal. In Medford, Justin Bork, 7 News, Night Team.
On now to the coronavirus emergency. Massachusetts and other parts of the country are preparing for the peak in the pandemic. Now Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker, along with several other northeastern governors, have formed a pact, if you will, to talk about reopening economies together, jointly, with joint ideas. From a look at what steps the Commonwealth is taking to the federal government's response right now, we have night team coverage beginning with Michael Yoshida.
Monday, Governor Baker announced millions of dollars in funding to help local businesses convert to making personal protective equipment for medical workers. All of this happening as the Commonwealth continues to see a rise in cases.
All the data continues to indicate that the days and weeks ahead will be difficult ones.
A sobering message from Governor Charlie Baker as Massachusetts experiences a coronavirus surge.
Massachusetts continues to see extremely high levels of positive tests across the Commonwealth.
Baker has been saying he expects cases to peak between April 10th and 20th. Since the 10th, the Commonwealth has seen roughly 1,500 new cases a day. During that same time, roughly a third of the state's coronavirus deaths have also been reported. In Boston, Mayor Walsh preparing for what's to come.
We are still in the very beginning of this surge. We have to stay focused. We are working hard and quickly as we can to get prepared to prevent further loss of life.
Neighboring Chelsea, a hotspot for the virus. The state now providing more resources, including thousands of food kits and testing.
Working with partners in Mass General Hospital, we have now increased testing capacity fourfold in the Chelsea area.
200 new ventilators have arrived from the federal government, as the state also works to get more personal protective equipment to medical workers. Also, right now, only a few dozen beds are being used at 2 field hospitals, so it seems there's capacity for a surge.
So statewide, we have approximately 50% of our hospital beds are occupied, which obviously means that nearly half are available.
And what about eventually reopening businesses? Baker has said when that time comes, more testing will need to be done to make people feel safe about returning to their daily routines. Monday, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo tweeting out, "Thank you to Mass Governor for joining our multi-state regional effort, along with New Jersey, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, Delaware, Rhode Island, to plan a safe and coordinated reopening. When we work together, we're stronger." And Monday night on CNN, Mayor Marty Walsh said that Boston could remain shut down until June. Reporting in Boston, Michael Yoshida, 7 News Night Team.
The country's top infectious disease doctor clearing up some comments he made during an interview yesterday, talking about the Trump administration's handling of the pandemic. And the president wanted to put a rumor to rest today as well. Night Team's Alex Trapato with details.
The president retweeted a tweet calling for Dr. Anthony Fauci's firing. But at the White House, the president said Dr. Fauci's job is safe.
I can just tell you the first and only time that I went in and said we should do mitigation strongly, the response was yes, we'll do it.
Today at the White House, Dr. Anthony Fauci said he wanted to clarify comments he made yesterday.
You could logically say that if you had a process that was ongoing and you started mitigation earlier, you could have saved lives.
Fauci declaring during the interview the Trump administration's reluctance for a shutdown and strong social distancing cost lives.
There was a lot of pushback about shutting things down back then.
Hours later, the president retweeted an attack on Dr. Fauci with the hashtag #FireFauci. But today, the president said he has no plans to remove Fauci from the coronavirus task force.
Today I walk in, I hear I'm going to fire him. I'm not firing him. I think he's a wonderful guy.
New York has hit a grim milestone, more than 10,000 coronavirus deaths. Governor Andrew Cuomo says the outbreak is leveling off and is gathering health and economic experts from other Northeast states like Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Massachusetts to decide on a regional approach to reopening the economy.
The question is for the federal government to now change its model of management. Because remember, the federal government could have said, I want to close down the economy. They didn't. They said, we're going to leave it to the states. Now, all of a sudden, when it comes time to open the economy, now it's back to the federal government as a responsibility.
President Trump responded by making this claim, which legal experts say isn't supported by the Constitution.
When somebody's the president of the United States, the authority is total. And that's the way it's got to be.
Your authority is
total. It's total. And the governors know that.
The president also defended his handling of the coronavirus crisis, saying he acted appropriately and quickly among mounting criticism. In Boston, I'm Alex DePrato, 7 News Night Team.
Sad news to report tonight as a familiar face here in New England has lost a battle with coronavirus. Bernie Rubin, the founder of Bernie & Phil's Furniture, has passed away. Born in Boston in 1937, Bernie started a furniture company with his wife Phil and soon became a household name. Here's the Night Team's Ryan Schulteis.
Bernie and Phil, quality, comfort, and price. That's nice.
For decades, Bernie and Phil Rubin were a staple on New England television.
It has to be Bernie and Phil's.
Their commercials became iconic, and so did Bernie.
Bernie was famous in New England.
Ed Anson, the owner of Channel 7, was good friends with Bernie.
I was very lucky now. We were very close friends.
Bernie passed away in South Florida after battling coronavirus.
Bernie was greatly beloved. He was a patriarch of a wonderful family, had a lot of friends. Everybody who knew Bernie loved him. He's a great guy.
Bernie was a very generous man. He gave to our community through various charities, including the Boys and Girls Club and organizations fighting to find a cure for multiple sclerosis.
He and his wife, Phil, got in business together when they were young adults and developed a wonderful family business. And they have 9 stores, and they ran it with a lot of quality and a lot of family. Both of his sons, his daughter, his grandchildren are all in the business now, and it's a great New England tradition now is what it really is.
Mr. Anson had just spent some time with Bernie last month as they celebrated Phil's 80th birthday in Florida.
He had a big brunch, and it was a wonderful occasion. I was pleased to be there and had a good time with Bernie as usual, and he was in good health then and good spirits, and a month later he's gone.
Tonight, the Rubin family released a statement saying Bernie was 1 in a million. He was honest, hardworking, fair, and above all, loved his family, which included his entire extended Bernie and Phil's family. Everyone who met Bernie loved him, and he will be greatly missed. Bernie is survived by his wife, Phil, 3 children, 10 grandchildren, and 1 great-grandchild. He was 82 years old. In the newsroom, Ryan Schulteis, 7 News 19.
Thousands of Massachusetts healthcare workers now receiving hazard pay for fighting the outbreak on the front lines. Licensed caregivers and nurses will receive a $10 increase in their hourly wage. All other workers get $5 an hour more, and this will last through the end of May. The state has also agreed to pay a one-time $500 bonus to workers who have not missed a shift or regular workday since the governor declared a state of emergency. The union representing these workers say that hazard pay will kick in immediately. The MBTA reporting the pandemic is significantly affecting ridership, down more than 90% since the end of February, and the commuter rail is only carrying about 8% of its typical riders. The T says it expects it'll make about $200 million less than planned this year.
There is more news tonight. A disturbing discovery in Sharon. The district attorney's office says a body with gunshot wounds was found inside a burning car. Tonight, police are investigating that death. The Night Team's Natalie Poza with more from Sharon.
Investigators say the body that was found inside of that burning car had been shot several times. Tonight, this remains an active investigation as they try to figure out what led up to this. Authorities looking into a suspicious death after charred remains were found in this burned car in Sharon. Investigators say the body is believed to be a man, and that man had been shot several times. Sharon Fire responding to Edge Hill Road right on the Canton town line around 1 in the morning. Sharon police and state police blocking the road, working to gather evidence overnight. Investigators say the car had recently been rented by another person who has been contacted by authorities. It is not known if the shooting took place in Sharon, as it remains an active investigation. And if you have any information that may help police, you're asked to give investigators a call. In Sharon, Natalie Pozo, 7 News Night Team. A couple of bold break-ins in the Children's Hospital parking garage in Boston. Nurses there say someone broke into their cars and stole some of their belongings while they care for patients inside. Night Team's Kimberly Bookman with more.
Windows shattered, personal belongings stolen. As if healthcare workers don't have enough to deal with, now 2 Children's Hospital nurses find themselves with major car trouble.
To come out to our car after
a long and very tiring shift, and to find something of that nature is, of course, very upsetting.
Both cars were broken into Saturday as the nurses worked 12-hour shifts in the emergency room, dealing with all ailments, including the coronavirus.
Family and staff members are under a particular amount of stress, and something like that would just add to it.
The garage is located off Blackfan Circle and is attached to the hospital. It's used by staffers as well as parents and family of patients.
Disappointing that someone would do that, especially at a hospital. It could have been a family with a sick child, which would have added so much stress.
The parking area is manned by an attendant, has surveillance cameras, and is monitored by a security team. Still, someone managed to break into 2 cars on the 4th floor and take a wallet from one and an overnight bag with headphones from another.
I think sad and upset is the first emotion that comes to mind.
While hospital security recovered some of the items underneath another car in the lot, Boston police officers are patrolling the area looking for the thief.
It definitely has left a mark on me, and it's a disappointing event to have had occurred.
Police are looking at surveillance video. In the meantime, they're asking anyone who was here on Saturday and saw anything suspicious to call in. In Boston, Kimberly Bookman, 7 News, Night Team.
Now in the race for the White House, Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders says he is now backing Joe Biden. Today, Sanders explaining why he's officially endorsing the former vice president.
Today, I am asking all Americans to make certain that we defeat somebody who I believe, and I'm speaking just for myself now, is the most dangerous president in the modern history of this country.
Biden said he would reach out to supporters of Senator Sanders as he makes his run against President Trump.
Coming up tonight, Coach Bill Belichick talking Tom. What he's saying about Brady's departure from the team as he turns his focus toward a new quarterback.
He's on to Stidham. We're on to Tuesday. Forecast up next.
And some Boston healthcare heroes getting some star support in the fight against the coronavirus.